The docking ring echoed with the thrum of distant machinery, a sound as constant as the station's own heartbeat. In a service corridor, a woman in stained gray overalls moved a sonic scrubber across a wall plate, her movements economical and tired. She was a cleaner, one of thousands who maintained the vast orbital marketplace known as the concourse. Her work was invisible, her presence a shadow against the glittering consumer halls. In a small berth nearby, her daughter waited, a thin girl of 12 with eyes too old for her face, fingers tracing silent patterns on the case of an old, battered instrument. The instrument was a tearful, a human artifact. It was not sophisticated by galactic standards. It did not emit calibrated sense suites, nor did it project harmonic light weaves. It produced a single, pure tone, its pitch modulated only by the pressure and placement of the player's hand upon its hemispheric chamber. To most species, it was a curiosity, a primitive soundstone. To the girl, it was everything. She had found it in a discard bin, its previous owner deeming it broken because it played only one note. But in that one note, the girl heard universes. Her mother finished her shift, the sour smell of recycled air and solvent clinging to her. They returned to their cubicle. The girl did not speak much. Words were scarce commodities here. Instead, she lifted the tearful. She placed her small hand upon its cool surface and began to play. It was not a melody, not as any known culture understood it. It was a single, sustained resonance. But as her fingers trembled and shifted, the note changed. It became a chord of loneliness, a symphony of quiet endurance, a sonata of starlight seen through a dirty viewport. The sound filled the cramped space, and for a moment the hum of the life support faded, the glare of the overhead lumen seemed softer. The mother, wiping her hands on a cloth, would pause, the deep lines of her face easing. This was their secret. This was their peace. One day, a traveler passed their open hatch. He was a long-limbed Vel, his auditory crests quivering with innate musical perception. He was a composer of some renown, journeying through the concourse in search of new inspiration, finding instead only sterile, commercial sound formats. The note from the cleaner's berth stopped him as if he had struck a wall. It was a sound that bypassed his sophisticated audio processing centers and spoke directly to the primal harmonic bone at the core of his being. It was profound. It was impossible. He peered inside. He saw the cleaner, the sparse room, the child with the simple sphere. He listened, crests now fully erect, capturing every subtle harmonic the girl wrested from the stone. He did not interrupt. When the note faded, he withdrew. He did not speak of it as a discovery. He spoke of it as a haunting. At a gathering of musicians in the luxury suites, a zillion pulseweaver, a K3 chorus master, a human synth archivist, he described the sound. It was not music, he said, his voice hushed. It was the echo of music's origin, a single point of sonic gravity from which all else expands. His description, earnest and awed, piqued a collective curiosity. The K3, whose art was the blending of 100 voices, was skeptical. The zillion, who painted with rhythmic light, was intrigued. The human, weary of digital perfection, felt a strange pull. They went, an incongruous group of artistic elites, to the service corridors. They found the berth. The mother, seeing them, instinctively moved to block the hatch, her body a shield of ingrained caution. The Vel bowed, a deep, respectful gesture. "We wish," he said softly, "only to listen. If she would play." Fear was in the mother's eyes, but also a flicker of something else, a recognition that the secret light she cherished was too bright to hide any longer. She looked at her daughter. The girl, who saw not fame but simply new listeners, nodded. She sat on her narrow cot, cradled the tearful, and closed her eyes. She played. The single note bloomed in the metal room. To the Vel, it was the sound of the first star igniting in the silent void. To the Zillion, it was a perfect, unwavering beam of golden light from which all colors were born. To the Ka3, it was the foundational tone, the pitch upon which the universe itself was built, the one true note that made all harmony possible. To the human archivist, it was the sound of home, not of earth, but of the longing for earth, the quiet courage of the long journey, the unbroken thread of a species that could find a universe in a single sustained breath. They wept. The K3's vocal sacs trembled with involuntary subharmonies. The Zillion's bioluminescence pulsed in perfect, awed time. They did not applaud. There was no sound to make after that dot word. As it does, traveled. Not through official channels, but through the whispering networks of artists and seekers. The next day, more came. A gruff miner with pitch-perfect seismic sense. A trio of Martian colonists who sang pressure chamber dirges. An old Tron luthier who built instruments from asteroid wood. They gathered in the corridor, a silent, patient crowd, their differences muted by shared anticipation. The cleaner mother, overwhelmed, stood by the door, her daughter inside. The girl played, the same note, a new universe every time. The station authorities took notice. Such gatherings were unregulated. A traffic flow was disrupted. A department head, a pragmatic man whose world was efficiency metrics and noise ordinances, arrived with a pair of peace officers. He saw the crowd, heard the faint, piercing note from the berth. His first impulse was to disperse them. He pushed through, his expression stern. "What is this disturbance?" He demanded that the crowd parted for him. He reached the hatch and saw the source. A child, a dirty stone, a room smaller than his office closet. The girl, sensing the shift in the air, looked up. Her fingers stilled on the Torella. The note died. The silence was louder than the music had been. It was a vacuum of profound loss. The department head felt it, a sudden, shocking emptiness in his chest. He looked at the faces around him, aliens and humans alike, all etched with a silent, collective reproach. He looked at the cleaner, who met his gaze not with defiance, but with a simple, undeniable truth in her eyes. He looked at the girl, holding her simple instrument. He had come to stop a nuisance. He now stood on the threshold of a sacred thing. The regulations in his mind collided with the feeling in his soul. He cleared his throat, the sound absurdly loud. "The acoustics in this corridor are poor," he said, his voice unsteady. He turned to a peace officer. "Schedule a maintenance check for sound-dampening irregularities in this sector. Until then," he looked back at the girl, "until then, it seems the structural integrity of the bulkhead here may require monitoring to ensure safety." For listeners, it was bureaucratic nonsense, a miraculous bending of rules. The peace officer, confused but obedient, nodded. The department head turned and left, walking quickly, the sound of that one note now haunting the rhythm of his own footsteps. The crowd understood. They did not cheer. They simply resumed their quiet waiting. The girl placed her hand back on the Torella. The note returned, washing over them all. It was the sound of a door opening, not just a cabin door, but a door in the spirit. It was the sound of the overlooked, the discarded, the quiet, and the clean, speaking a truth so pure, it stopped the galaxy's chatter for a moment to hear. The musicians kept coming. They gathered in the service corridor, a testament to the power of a single note, played not by a maestro, but by a cleaner's daughter. And in that note, they did not hear the might of humanity, nor its fury, nor its technological triumph. They heard its fragile, enduring heart. And for once, that was enough.